So you call yourself an entrepreneur. So you think that you're ready for challenges you probably never faced or forgot about. Sleepless nights and early morning wake-ups. I've been doing this gig for 30 plus years, which is why I'm the #1 entrepreneur in the world. So my question to you is, if you got what it takes, then step up to the plate to become crowned the real entrepreneur.
Hi everybody, my name is April Falk, better known as AP Rose, the founder of AP Rose Entertainment. I am known for turning incarceration into innovation. Today I'm here on my entrepreneur journey. What started out as working in healthcare, working in the entertainment business, it all came to this very moment. I served 5 years of incarceration. And after serving that unlawful and unjust conviction, I decided I needed to do something. I needed to bring about a change. And so what I decided to do was bring reality and bring people to it so they could see what it's like being incarcerated as a woman. So after that unlawful conviction, I felt it was best that people know what we as women go through after being incarcerated. Being that everything that I knew was entrepreneurship, I felt like a way to incorporate everything was why not let people see what we do once we're released. We had to go through breaking barriers with felonies, convicted felons on our record. So with doing that, I wanted people to see that in real time, in real life. So I created The Queenables. It's a reality show. It's about formerly incarcerated women, showing their journey, showing how they try their best to be entrepreneurs, business owners, just bossed up, even with everything that they had going on in life. And so on this journey, we found pain. We turned our pain into purpose. And so that's what I'm here for. What I'm doing is I'm locking out the niche. Everybody needs to know about formerly incarcerated women and also the men. And so I brought it from a different aspect. I gave it a platform. I gave it an entertainment platform, my way of getting people to see what we're all about. And so I started a From Bars to Stars movement, which houses the Queenables. It houses the Kinkables and the Arables. And so that brings us here today. And I hope you can stay along and see my journey.
Miss April, thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So we have a few questions.
Okay.
Answer them to the best of your ability. The first question is, what inspired you to be an entrepreneur?
Oh, well, actually, at the time I was young and having children, I needed something that I could make my own schedule. So that was my first inspiration. I needed to make it work for me. I didn't want to have to worry about people telling me to come in on their schedule. And once I got a taste of it, I couldn't go back. It's nothing like owning your own stuff. It's nothing like being the boss, calling the shots, and it's been up from there.
Love it. Describe a time where you had a setback and you had to overcome that setback. How did you deal with that?
Okay, so I guess that would be when I got sentenced to prison. I've never in my life been in trouble. Working as a nurse, I've never did anything but take care of my children and work hard to make money. That's what I knew. All I knew was medical. So that setback of seeing people that I thought knew my character not support me when it wasn't smiling, things weren't good, the cameras wasn't there, the bad publicity, just seeing those people change and not support me or take up for me, that did something to me. When I was incarcerated, that was a culture shock. Like I said, I never been in trouble. So I was bunkies with murderers, I was bunkies with people that have done violent things, and then I was living with people that didn't do what they said they did. So at that time, that was a setback. My family was separated. I'm the only one in my family who went to prison, been in jail. So it was a lot. So at that time, after I got over the crying, the mental health stuff, and it's like, hey, God put me here, allowed me to be here for a reason. So let's flip this. So let's use this as my training ground. I got up, I started creating events, I started taking every class, anything they could possibly offer me while I was incarcerated. And I'm like, I'm gonna come out. I started taking care of my skin, doing anything I can to prepare me to step outside those gates. And once I did that, it was just like, it's on, it's up from here. And that's what I did. I would not look back. And so with doing so, I'm here and I fought. They told me no. I had to fight my case. They said no, my time was right. I went through so much. And coming out of that and the things that I know I overcome, It's like when I look up in the mirror, it's like, baby, you're unstoppable. You can't touch me. So that was one of the major things. And before doing that, I was in a domestic violence relationship with my ex-husband, and he shot me in my head. He shot me in my head. He killed my sister. He killed my husband. He killed himself in front of my 12-year-old son. They asked me, how do you go on? How do you survive? And my question to them is, God didn't help me to survive or protect me from that situation just so I could lose my mind. I am here for a reason. And so I'm here not only for myself, but to help other people. And that's where my niche came from. Once incarcerated, that taught me to protect women, that gave me advocacy for other things. I championed the cause. And so I'm out here, boots on the ground, and that's what I'm gonna do. So that was my setback. I've had a lot of setbacks, but those were the two that changed my life. At that time, my mind shift changed. And once that changed, you can't stop me. You can't tell me I can't do nothing, because nobody can walk a mile in my shoes, because I've lived some things. And so, and I'm here. And what kept me going was my children, because like I said, I knew nothing about prison. I wasn't a fighter. Hey, I can't fight. Don't hit me. You know, but what we could do, we could pray. You know, I'm not a fighter. I don't want to do these things, you know, so let me help you. And so I had favor. God gave me favor. He protected me. Everybody loved me. Everybody liked me. Everybody listened to me. And when I saw that I had that hold on people, that people liked what I was doing, they liked being around me, it was a tool. God put me in position to come out here and do some major things. And I can't look back. I can't let anything stop me. I'm a soldier, and so that's why I'm here.
Hey, what's going on? My name is Aquila Smith. You probably all know me by Dat Ninja Q. I'm an actor, model, influencer, as well as an entrepreneur. I have my own business. It's called Innovative Q LLC. And I'm from Newark, New Jersey, originally. You know, and I'm here to pop my stuff, you feel me? I'm ready, I'm willing, and I'm aligned.
Hi, Paula. Thank you for being here with us today. Tell me what inspired you to become an entrepreneur.
Well, first off, I want to say what inspired me is working for corporate America. Last year, I was out of work for 5 months due to being harassed by 3 black male managers. It was like really bad. I'm not even going to get into all that. So in the midst of all that, I birthed my brand, Innovative Q LLC, which is I am my own brand, as well as my grandmother, God rest her soul, she passed December 27th. She would always tell me, you are somebody, and that I would, you know, preach to the children. And basically my mission is to help as many souls as possible through my own trials and tribulations. Yeah.
Tell me about a time where you've had to overcome a challenge in your business. How did you handle that?
To overcome a challenge in my business, honestly, I'm gonna be honest, because like I said, I just started. So overcoming my challenge, I would say, was actually starting and actually having the willpower through the midst of losing my apartment, losing my car, my grandmother, like everything. I was homeless, and I still pushed myself to birth my my business, Innovative Q LLC, which is myself, my brand. And I want to ultimately open up a performing arts school for children. And like the top 3 will get like some type of internship, as well as I want to have a creative studio for all ages, because it gets creative later, as well as a nonprofit business for battered women and men, to set them up to have like a career, a job placement house, at least within a year, you know. So, and other things, I also have, I wrote a mini script. I'm also writing a script, as well as I have a book that I haven't published yet. So it's like I have so many different things. Yeah.
It's amazing! I got the call! The bag different. I told you it's different. God did it. I didn't do it. It's amazing. BG Fashion's on the way to the universe. It's the best brand ever. When I say the best brand, when you put it on, you're going to feel good. You're going to look good. It's all in the mind. God did this. I did not do this. So one thing about BG Fashion, the B and the G at the end of the day is to believe God. When you put this on your back, you're going to have so much power. You're going to have so much strength. You're going to have so much energy. You're going to keep going and going and going. Because the only person that can do anything at the end of this day is God. And I'm here to let y'all know, at the end of this day, God did everything the amazing way. I got the call. The bag is different. God did it. I didn't do it. And it's amazing. And when it says inside this book, when you see it, when it get on your back, when it get on your body, when it get in your lap, at the end of the day, you're going to go chase that bag. That's what the world is about. It's a bag. You can't do nothing without a coin, without a dollar. When you put this on, you're going to go get $1. What I mean by that, it's amazing. You got to believe God. You see it? It's amazing. Believe God, BG, the amazing way. I ain't do it. God did it. And it's amazing. I got the call. Mama, happy birthday. I'm doing this for you. You heard me?
Raquel, thank you for coming. So we have a few questions. Just answer them to the best of your ability. First question is, what inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
BG Fashion. This is what inspired me. Here you go right here. You can take that. You can look through there. That right there is letting you know what BG Fashion is. It's a brand that will going to take the world to the next level. When I say to the next level, BG Fashion is believe God. That's the only person that you can believe. If you don't believe God, you don't get nowhere in life. God is it. God is everything. So this brand have a stitching of pain, has a sense of strength, and has a stitching and leather and suede of courage and just inspiring others to be able to go ahead and make it to the next level. I did not do this. God did it, and I believe it. And I got the call, and the bag is different, and it's very amazing on top of everything else. And a handmade from the bottom to the top. I draw everything, and I just get it designed up amazingly.
These are beautiful designs.
Yeah, I love these designs. Next question, describe a time where you had a setback and how did you overcome that setback?
I never had no setback. God always was with me. He always was there. Anything that came down and tried to tear me down, I'll pick up the phone. If I don't call my mama, I'll call my Aunt Tiff. And I'll just let them know what I'm going through and I'll walk them through it. But God is just everything. I can't have no setback. Can't have no sit downs, no nothing. Because I got 1,000,000% of God. Like, he gave me the call. And one thing I can say who gave me this vision is him. He gave me a vision of a bag. It was green, it was yellow, it was blue, it was orange. And I seen it. I seen the B and I seen the G. And I really didn't understand what it was and what it was for until I got it made and I got it designed. And I put it on. When I put it on and I felt the pain going through my body and I felt the passion and I felt the courage. I was like, wow, I got something. I feel like I'm a superwoman. And until then, I just been getting the bag ever since I put that bag on my shoulders.
Hello, my name is Byron Fitzpatrick. I am from Memphis, Tennessee, born and raised. I am now back there after spending many years away. But anyway, I moved back to Memphis 10 years ago. And during that time, I went back there because I have a long history and background in ministry. And I felt that God was telling me to go back home. And so I did that and started a church there. And during the pandemic, it just hit us too hard, so we ended up shutting the church down. But I also, on the side, used to do photography, multimedia, outside of my full-time job. But when I moved back to Memphis, I decided now it's time for me to work for myself after working for everybody else for so many years. Now it's time for me to do my own thing. So what I did is turn photography and multimedia into my my permanent job, working for myself. So with that, Snappers Photography is the name of my business, and I do photography, videography, graphic design, podcast production, and also social media support and content creating for other people. And now with this journey in my life, I say, you know what, it's time for me to do some things for myself. I'm always doing other things for everybody else, helping them to grow in their businesses and their things they do. So it's time for me to invest in myself and grow myself and my business and so forth. So that's my journey here. And also I guess the next thing in my journey is I'm looking into possibly starting an agency for talent. So I got a lot of people in the photography business and videography business. I meet a lot of talent and people are asking me, hey, help me to do this and help me to do that. And so I'm like, I'm helping everybody else. So maybe I should start a talent agency. So that's something that's on my radar for right now.
Mr. Byron, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Man, look, I'm amazing. I cannot complain.
Good, good.
So we got a few questions.
Okay.
Just answer them to the best of your ability.
Okay.
My first question to you is, what inspired you to be an entrepreneur?
Well, the thing that was, at my age, I decided, this was 10 years ago, I decided I've been working for other people for so long, and now it's time for me to work for myself. And so, but it was also a means to another end. When I moved back home to Memphis, I moved back there to start a church, to pioneer a church. And in that, I was investing my own money to do so. After my years of ministry background, I used all my money to start this church in Memphis. And so in order to have the time to start this church, I decided that I needed the freedom of time and to be able to make money. So I took a job that I used to do, or my business I used to do on the side of my full-time job was photography. So I turned that into a full-time job for myself so that I can have the freedom to be able to manage my own schedule, to be able to start this church.
Okay. Which brings me into my next question. As an entrepreneur, we all have setbacks.
Mm-hmm.
So describe one of your setbacks and tell us how you overcame that setback.
The pandemic. The pandemic was not only a setback for my business, but it was also a setback for the church. And both of these things, so basically starting two businesses at the same time, starting a full-time photography business and starting a full-time ministry business, at building both of them at the same time. The pandemic hit, it was like, both of them just kind of went way down. And if you recall, like the churches couldn't do a lot during the pandemic time, where a lot of other businesses, once things started opening up, they were able to get back in business, where churches was still held down more so. Well, working in photography and multimedia, a lot of people weren't using their money for that because they had to prioritize. And so they wasn't taking pictures and doing videos as much as they used to. At least in Memphis, they weren't. So yeah, the pandemic was a big setback because it caused our business to go way down. But we just continued to fight through it, and just like everybody else started to come back and bounce back from the pandemic, we were determined to do the same thing.
All right. Welcome to The Real Entrepreneur Season 4 casting. I am your host, Cashley Banks, and I am here with Tell Me About Yourself and What Do You Do?
I am an entrepreneur, philanthropist, author, and mindset coach, and what I do is help people achieve their dreams by creating action steps and meeting milestones to create those dreams. I focus on being consistent. I focus on consistent action so that people can achieve their dreams by making sure, taking bold steps, creating change, and making sure that things happen in their lives.
Well, that's awesome. Great to hear. Thank you for sharing that. My next question is, how long have you been an entrepreneur, and what inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
I've been an entrepreneur for 23 years, and what inspired me to be an entrepreneur is my personal story. So I grew up in poverty. I saw my parents struggling. I didn't want to do that. So I created the Milestone Method, which is ways of how I became successful to help people in that same situation. So unfortunately, it's sad to say, but what inspired me to be an entrepreneur was growing up in poverty and wanting different for my own children.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Welcome to season 4. I am Cantrell. I am a registered nurse here in Atlanta, and I also do health and life insurance. I'm just out here educating my community about how important insurance is, because some people don't even look at their summary of benefits. They don't even know what's going on. Your insurance could be giving you a free Chick-fil-A card every month and you wouldn't even know it. So I'm just out here going to health fairs, going to senior homes, going to apartment buildings, just educating people on how important it is, on why you need to be insured. I'm tired of going to fish fries to donate and, your family member done died. I need you to be insured. I need you to know that you need a policy right on hand so that you can be good to go. So thank y'all so much for this opportunity. I'm from Atlanta. Shout out to my mom. Shout out to everybody that has held me down thus far. Thank y'all so much.
Miss Kentrell,
Hey,
how you doing?
I'm well.
Good, good. So we have a few questions for you.
Okay.
Just answer them to the best of your ability. The first question is, what inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
Yes, so what inspired me to become an entrepreneur is my mom. I seen her get up every day and go to a job. She recently retired after 26 years. She retired one week and went and worked the next. And I told myself, if I got to work like this, some got to give. It's always been in me to sell something, even if it's hot dogs on the corner. I'm going to go do it. I'm going to go tell somebody about something. I'm going to sell them something. Every time I see somebody, I'm going to sell them something. So that's what inspires me.
Okay. Next question is, as an entrepreneur, we all deal with setbacks.
Yes.
So describe to us what was a setback for you and how did you overcome that setback?
Yes, so a major company that I am contracted with, they sadly went out of business, and that's where most of my clientele went. So because them going out of business, it made everybody have to go to another healthcare plan, and I lost some of my clients, majority of them. So now I'm steady working to gain more clients and keep my clientele. So I'm doing that actively right now as we speak.
My name is Charmaine. I'm also known as Purpose Life Coach Char. I have been through a lot of different things in my life. And so with going through some of the struggles and things like that, it kind of helped me to find my purpose. This past few years, I've really dealt with a lot of things back to back, which actually pushed me or propelled me into my purpose. From my mom having a brain aneurysm to me going to the hospital with a blood clot in my lung, and then my boyfriend passing in April of last year, it kind of got me to see that life is really short. And so I don't want to waste my purpose. I know God has given me a purpose, and I shut my voice down for so long that I want to make sure that people who are taking the situations in life right now, they're making permanent situations for temporary solutions. And I want to be able to use my journey to be able to share that with somebody else, so they know that they're not alone in this walk of life, and that somebody is there for them, and that their life does have purpose.
Hi, Charmaine. Thank you for coming out and being with us today.
Thank God for having me.
Tell me what inspired you to become an entrepreneur.
To become an entrepreneur, when I was in the military, I felt like I was always meant to do something more. So ever since I got out, I've kind of pretty much been dibbling, dabbling in entrepreneurship. And then once I got my full veterans benefits, then I really started trying to pursue it more full time.
Tell me, what was your hardest setback? How did you overcome it?
My hardest setback, I would have to say, for me, was last year in April. My boyfriend passed. And I had a moment where I was very angry with God, because I felt like I was just now starting to get out of my shell, and I couldn't understand why something like this would happen. And so for 6 months, I was not in a place where I would pray. I didn't want to talk about God. I really didn't know which direction I was going in. I didn't know what I wanted to do, if I was going to continue to follow my purpose that I finally just figured out what it was, or if I just actually honestly just didn't want to be here anymore. And so I had some real conversations with God, and then I finally started going back to church. I started going off maybe once a month. But now that I'm in church, I'm kind of getting back my groove and everything with that. And it's like, okay, God has been showing me everywhere I go and people that I talk to, and that it's like, this is my purpose. What I went through is for a purpose. I might not understand the purpose still at this moment, but I do see where it's taking me and where I've grown in it.
Well, my name Deontay. I'm from Atlanta. My father, my mom, she from Bankhead. My dad from West Africa, Sierra Leone. And, I'm an entrepreneur, of course. I got a clothing brand, and it's very hot in the city, and it's growing, and it's called Chic She She. And you can find me on IG. First of all, my first IG is A1 Sauce. Don't forget that one. And what I'm doing right now, I'm acting, of course, modeling, of course, and pushing the brand. And my brand is one of the brands that's really growing because it has ideas and it has meaning to it. It has something that people can attach to. And I feel that through manifestation, everything's possible. Anything is possible. And that's what we're doing with my brand. I'm reaching out to people via a gift of gab. And, we have an understanding of how to reach our target audience. And that's what we're doing currently. And we are being creative throughout the world and touching bases with all different races.
Deontay, I am a big fan of your shirt because whenever I have to get glammed up, I am always throwing in some sparkles, some gems, and I just feel like it makes me come alive. So I wanted to ask you, on your journey, what inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
Really, what inspired me, well, I feel like it was always in me, and so I feel like that what really inspired me is being creative, because I played college football and stuff like that, so I've always been like creative. I really didn't like school. My dad, he's African, so every African, they need to be a doctor or a lawyer or something like that, so he be like that, and all Africans like that. So it really, I just went to school for my parents, but like as me as a parent, like rich dad, poor dad, like we'll teach our kids, like listen to them. We don't listen, because a lot of parents is really tricked by the government and propaganda in the world to go to school and be a worker. But we have way bigger talents than something that's a school, way bigger.
So I'm sure, being a fashion designer, you've gone through a lot of setbacks. What was your biggest setback and how did you overcome it?
Biggest setback, maybe I would say when you make some money and then you don't put it in the right area. So really understanding like to keep putting money back into your brand, even though, because I always look for inspiration from other people that I seen that it was great. And I look at it be even young kids like 15 years old or whatever. It's getting younger and younger, reaching their dreams. And it's like, it was one kid, he was like 15 or something. He 500 shirts made $1 million, so like shit started out with $500, made $1 million. So it's like people all over the world that make money and then change their life. So, so that's basically it.
Well, I am the Dr. Aisha Brown Lumpkin, and I am your season 4 real entrepreneur. I am a lady from a small town in South Carolina. I moved to Atlanta, Georgia to fulfill my dreams. I then moved to Hollywood, California as the Parker's television show wardrobe stylist. I am now back here in Atlanta. I am teaching women how to be better business owners. I am your founder and your CEO of CEO Girl Bosses. I am also your CEO of Luxurious Events by the Dr. IBL. If you want to know how to be a better business owner as a woman, then I am your girl. If you also are looking for someone to show you how to manage a phenomenal event, I would be your creative director. Find me, follow me, and join me. I am the Dr. Aisha Brown Lumpkin.
Dr. Aisha.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for being here.
It's a pleasure.
So we have a few questions. I just
Okay.
want you to answer them to the best of your ability.
Okay.
The first question is, what inspired you to be an entrepreneur?
My mother.
I watched my mother as a child work morning, noon, and night. And I didn't want to be that person. You know, I wanted to be able to provide for my family and didn't struggle. So I started my businesses, and it's been a blessing thus far. It's been a struggle sometimes. Don't get me wrong, but it's been a blessing.
Absolutely. Great segue to my next question. As an entrepreneur, we all deal with setbacks, right? Mm-hmm. So describe to us what was one of your setbacks and how did you overcome that setback?
So I told you guys I was the junior wardrobe stylist for the Parker's television show in Hollywood, California. Paramount Studios started laying people off. People that was there before me had seniority, and I was one of the ones that got laid off during the last round. I then moved back to Atlanta, and it crushed me. I was living my dreams. I was in Hollywood, California, where everyone wanted to be. So I will say that it humbled me. It humbled me. It gave me another chance to get it right. And when I mean get it right within myself. That it told me that I didn't have to be there to still live my dreams. And so when I came back to Atlanta, that was the best thing that I could have done. God led me. He's continuing to lead me. And so I would not take that experience. I would do that experience all over again, if you will.
Welcome in, Miss Shanita Posey. I am Cashley Banks, your host for the Real Entrepreneur Season 4 casting. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
I first want to ask you, well, we know your name is Miss Posey. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do in your business?
I'm actually a retired Army veteran. Currently work for the Department of Defense, and I'm a self-published author. Outside of when I created, this is my second self-published book, The Pink Sheep. And what I have been trying to put together since creating this book, it touches on a number of topics, from childhood molestation to narcissistic parenting to peer pressure and resiliency from overcoming a number of things. Kind of like how they say, who better than to talk to people about these things? Someone who has been through them. I've given a few briefings to the soldiers on Fort Gordon to talk them through a number of these incidents because I felt like there was a gap in our culture and in society right now where a lot of these topics seem to get swept under the rug. And what it eventually does is for some people that either don't know how to cope or they find negative means of coping, which most oftentimes are irrational. So what I've tried to do was put together a platform, whether it be a series of videos talking about these topics, and then to create a forum where young men and women, even older men and women, because I found out that men and women my age, in my age group, I'm 46, have gone through these situations and haven't had the proper platform to talk about them, to get them discussed, because a lot of times we find out in our culture that it's sometimes taboo to go to counseling, but I find out that they need to get the message that it's a sign of strength to actually talk about these things and get them addressed and to actually begin the healing process from them instead of negatively coping with them, either through drugs, alcohol, promiscuity, or any other situation that could lead to basically a self-destruction.
Wow, that's impressive. That's wonderful. Like, totally respect that. And it's definitely needed. Mental health, people, understanding that side of the fence from what that looks like for that person. And you, with you being in the military, you know firsthand what that looks like. So kudos to you for that. I respect that. So great answer. And it also answered, my next question was going to be what inspired you to become an entrepreneur, but you pretty much just told us that. So my next question for you is, what type of setback or problems have you had as an entrepreneur? And how did you overcome that setback?
I guess setbacks that I've had were trying to get my foot in the door. A lot of times you find people, normally the people that are around you, that they aren't as supportive.
And like I said, being a person that has gone through each topic that I have discussed, I'm no stranger to adversity. I'm no stranger to knowing what it feels like to be resilient. I'm no stranger to knowing that the word no isn't the end all be all. And then having been a person that is in the mindset of turning my pain into a purpose, I know that this is something that's bigger than me. And the more that I talk to people, the more people that read this book, I find out that it's a purpose that needs to be addressed. So like I said, the driving force for me behind it is, if God got me through these things, there has to be a place somewhere where I have to be of service to help other people to get on the other side of it, even if it uses myself as an example to say, yes, sometimes unfortunate things happen to people, but if you need an example of what it looks like to overcome it and to actually get through it, you got one standing in front of you.
My name is Julia Isaac, CEO of Preferred Waste Solutions. My journey began in Oroville, Alabama. It began as a little girl in a trailer when we were almost homeless, wanting for food and wanting for clothing, and my mom is waiting on the government. And when I'm reading the books, and pretty much wanting what's in the books, I dreamed that it was a better vision for my life. When I got to Georgia, because of a personal reason, I pretty much went to the military for 10 years, and I met my husband, and I did law enforcement for 10 years, and we came up with a plan, and we decided that we would no longer beg for a position in society. With that being said, we scrambled and we became something. Now we're still scrambling to become something in society. I'm trying to set a better example for my son, set a better example for my family. There are still people in my family that doubt, that talk down, that don't believe that I will be anything. With that being said, I put all of my faith in Preferred Waste Solutions. Me and my husband, we scrambled and we saved. We used our own money to start this business. Preferred Waste Solutions started out of our own pocket. Me and my husband own all of our own equipment. Our company is located in Lake City, Georgia, right here. And with all of our networking that we have done, we pretty much attend as many events as we can, and we are constantly in people's face, making sure our brand is constantly known. And we will be known as the #1 provider in Clayton, Henry, and Rockdale as a sanitation company that gives back to the community. Preferred Waste Solutions will be more than just your standard sanitation company. Right now, we're giving back to the community. We offer discounts to the military, to law enforcement, to our seniors. We offer backdoor services. We offer what others do not offer. We started this because one company told us that we will not go any further because we don't have the education, because we didn't fit the status quo. So we stepped out on faith and we said that we believe in God and we will do this regardless of what you say. All the naysayers, we are going to make this happen. So with that being said, I want people to know that Preferred Waste Solutions will strive, and you will see an orange can on every curb in Clayton, Henry, and Rockdale, and eventually all over Georgia, and eventually nationwide. We will not stop until we become number one. Thank you.
Hi, Julia. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
You look amazing.
Thank you.
My question for you is, what inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
It's a combination of two guys, my uncle, Mason, and my husband, Dwayne. Those two guys inspired me to be an entrepreneur starting about 4 years ago. And we saw an opportunity where we both reached a point in our careers where we couldn't go any further, and where you were told that you pretty much was gonna not make any more money, and we wanted to make more money. We saw that we can be more than a sergeant or just a general manager. We knew that we could be more. We knew that we were worth more than what they were telling us. So we decided to branch out and become entrepreneurs.
I like it. What was your largest setback that you've had in business, and how did you overcome it?
And our first year in business with Preferred Waste Solutions in 2023, my husband and mom passed away, and we hired our first driver. The same week, that driver flipped our brand new truck, and that was our major truck. So my husband, being that his mom just passed, I had to step up and literally step into the operations and executive role. So I had to pull the whole weight, and I literally had to sit him down and say, hey, just stay on scene and I'll handle everything. So that was our major setback. It set us back financially, and it set us back just in a major way. But we were able, we pulled out of it. It really taught us a lesson, but we came out of it.
Hi, my name is LaKasha Long. I am the CEO and founder of Lady Moss of the Sea. And Lady Moss of the Sea is a all-natural, wild Irish sea moss. My journey began back in 2020. I was diagnosed with a thyroid disease, and my sister told me about sea moss, and from there sea moss kind of helped me. It was hard to find it, but once I found it, it actually helped me with my thyroid. So I began doing more research on it. 2 months later, this was February 2020, 2 months later my sister passed away. So I feel that my sister brought sea moss into my life to reveal it to others that have health issues and health problems. So once I began researching about sea moss, I found out so many health benefits and what sea moss can do for others. So I started passing it around to my family, which I'm a native of Ohio. So I started sending it back to Ohio, and before I knew it, it was during COVID, and before I knew it, I mean, it just like blew up. It really blew up. I mean, people were reaching out to me from all over, asking me, could I get them some sea moss? Could I find them some for this ailment, that ailment, this problem? And so every time somebody would ask me about sea moss and I didn't know about the condition, I would research it, and sure enough, sea moss would be the cure for it. So by May of 2020, I was able to launch my business, LadyMossOfTheSea.com, to my storefront, which was at 4788 Old National Highway. And from there, it just kind of went, really big. And now I ship all over the U.S. and all my clients, they still come back to me. I get new clients all the time, and sea moss is just beneficial for anyone that has any type of medical condition or medical disability is good for high blood pressure, diabetes, asthma, depression, pH balance, sex drive, skin irritations. I mean, there's hundreds. I'm just naming a few, but that's where my CMOS journey began.
LaKasha, thank you for being here. You are beaming like your shirt, just so bright, and I love it. I love your energy. Tell me what inspired you to become an entrepreneur.
Well, I was inspired after college. Went to college for 4 years, a criminal justice degree. Went into my field. The pay was not feeding my family, and so then I had to go into a higher paying job, which was the workforce. And going into the workforce, I was laid off. So in between jobs, I had to still feed my family. And so I was doing like a little clothing line business and just small businesses. But I was inspired because I feel like the companies, they'll lay you off, and the 401k plans are being cut, and the corporation policies are changing. So I wanted to build a legacy for my children without having to be minimized to corporates and different companies and what their policies are.
Okay. All right. I like that.
Thank you.
And you've had some setbacks, as we all do. What was your biggest setback, and how did you overcome it?
My biggest setback, I would say, was when I opened my CMOS storefront. It was going great. It went great for all of 2 years, and then the pandemic was over, and it just, I couldn't keep my employees, I couldn't keep my store open. I was paying more overhead fees and more to keep the store open than the product was bringing in. But my online business, it always flourished. It never let me down. So I was actually using my online store to pay for my overhead for my storefront. So that was a setback for me because I wasn't really getting any profit because I was using Peter to pay Paul. So once my business closed, I've never been able to launch it open again. So that was my biggest downfall, setback.
How you guys doing? On The Real Entrepreneur, I am Leon Gresham, Mr. CEO of Lean Minnesota Water, the first black-owned bottled water company in Minnesota. We've been working super hard, just great and happy with this opportunity. We are in 48 Greyhound stations. We're in 3 airports. It's just been amazing. We're in the Target Center, the Gold Room, the Timberwolves, and Special Olympics, both sponsor the water. We've just been happy with the ride right now, going on 3 years. And just trying to really help our community out, make something great happen, show positive love with all the diverse and everything that's going on in our community. Just show that real uplifting spirit, and just happy to be here at The Real Entrepreneur. So, yep.
How you doing, Mr. Grisham?
Bless.
So we're going to ask you 3 questions.
Yes, sir.
Just answer them to the best of your ability. Okay? First question is, what inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
I think it started off with my Bishop Howe at my Bishop Howe at my church. He was very inspiring, telling me just to get out there and see what God has for me. Just be a disciple, a child of God, and make something happen. And then I started working at a taco truck that my brother had started, Taco Tuesday, and that just really inspired me, watching him, set his standards and set his schedules and work at different organizations, selling his food, selling the tacos. So that really was inspiration going from here. It started here in Atlanta, and then I took that same feeling, that same inspiration, and brought it back to Minnesota and started the water company. Yeah.
So tell us a time when you had a setback, and how did you overcome it?
That's a good one. That camera's on too. Okay, so when I started off with the water company, I like that. That's a good one. When I started off with the water company, I think us as a culture, sometimes we think that things are handed to us. When I started off, they started fronting me water. I thought that was, look what God's doing, this is amazing. And when I looked up, 5 months later, I had a $12,000 bill. So that was my biggest overcome, as far as just having to repay that back, get that together, and then get more water and realize and understand the business aspect of this whole water industry. Yeah.
Hi, America. I have been an entrepreneur since I was 14 years old. I started out with my own clothing line called 7 Apparel. From going into doing that opened up my world to know that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to be the person that take over and own the world. Once I graduated, I continued educating myself on being an entrepreneur. I pretty much started a Turo business, home health care, CPR, and I'm continuing to grow my businesses, continue to take over this world. I also act as well. I've been acting for Tyler Perry for the last 3 years. You should see me in backgrounds of different films of Satima, Beauty in Black, All the Queen's Men, upcoming Why Did I Get Married, and a couple of his new films coming up. I wanted to introduce myself, and I want you to remember this face because you're going to see it all over the world real soon.
Tay, thank you for coming to the Real Entrepreneur. So, we have a few questions for you.
Okay.
All right, answer them to the best of your ability. The first question is, what inspired you to be an entrepreneur?
Pretty much I became an entrepreneur at 14. So I saw a vision at a young, early age, and I just knew that if I kept going, I had very supportive parents, a mom and a godmom, who assured me that anything that I wanted to do in life, that they'll be 1,000% behind it, and they have been, which is the reason why I'm here today.
So, Tay, describe a time where you had a setback, and how did you overcome that setback?
I don't like to look at things as setbacks. I'm one of those people that if it's my time to shine, it's my time to shine. I'm a first believer of God, so whenever He gives me the time, if it's not my time, then it's not my time. But when it's my time, I'm definitely going to shine.
All right. So, Ms. Tillman, thank you for joining us this morning. So my question for you is, what inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
Ooh, well, I'm a hustler by nature. I feel like it got to be in you, not on you. So since I was a teenager, I started my first job at 14, and I never stopped moving since then. I've had multiple streams of income. I've been a realtor in Philadelphia for 10 years. I actually just finished my real estate schooling just now, a couple of days ago. So I will be a realtor in Georgia. I've had 2 hair salons, a daycare, apartment buildings, homes. I've just always been a hustler. All my life. It's just in me. And so coming here, I kind of set into my Georgia ways, and I was working in corporate America, making 6 figures. And then it was a big layoff. And so I said, you know what? I don't want anybody to control or be able to come in and snatch the rug from underneath of me again. That's why I was always an entrepreneur prior to. So I said, you know what? I need to put my hat back on. And so now I'm just like moving and shaking. I'm a notary. I'm a travel agent. I got my own accessory bar, which is my customization business. I'm ready to be a realtor. So it's something that's always been in me. And I just had to kind of, get my groove back. And so that's where I'm at now. I'm on grind mode, demon time right now.
Wow, girl, that's phenomenal. So
thank you.
I salute to you. So the second part of that question is, what drives you when things get tough? Because we know things get tough as an entrepreneur, but what keeps you going?
Well, what keeps me grounded and keeps me going is the fact that I can't stop. I have kids. Well, my youngest is 16, but I have kids, I have grandkids, and I'm trying to scale my business and actually do some things and leave something for my children. As a culture of Black people, we don't really set ourselves up where we can set our children up and set, those that come behind us up. So I'm trying to get to a place where I can set things up to leave something for my children and my legacy and my grandkids. So that's what keeps me going. Besides the fact that I love nice things and I love to do things and I love to get what I want when I want it.
And great day. I am Renee Ambush from Baltimore, Maryland, and I carry my city on my back. I am the positive face of Baltimore. I got into this journey because I started work at age 14. Why? Because I was a teenage mother and I had to overcome a whole lot of things. 3 domestic violent relationships, homelessness, and ultimately the death of my son. My son, whose name was Drama. He was a performing artist in Baltimore, and I was nominated in 2018 or considered for a Grammy for Best Gospel Single, and the song was Destiny. What I realized as I gave birth to him, but he gave life to me in his death. So after many years in the system, letting someone tell me when I could wake up, when I could go to the bathroom, when I could breathe, I decided that, you know what, I had to live in purpose, on purpose, for purpose, that there was destiny. So what I tell everyone is, where you are is not necessarily where you ought to be. Step out of the realm of spiritual and self-incarceration and be free. Get out of the box. There is destiny over drama.
Hi, Renee.
Hello there. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you for being here. I love your t-shirt, Destiny Over Drama.
Thank you so much.
And Renee, I wanted to ask you, what inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
What inspired me to become an entrepreneur was the fact that I worked for the government for about 10 and a half years. And I realized that understanding and operating in a system that wasn't allowing me to operate in my full purpose was not for me. So it was a very scary thing to step out on faith, to do it on my own. But what I realized is that the paycheck they gave me was never enough to keep my peace. So that was my first inspiration to become an entrepreneur.
I like that. I'm sure that you've had many setbacks in your industry. Tell me about the toughest setback you've had. And how did you overcome it?
The toughest setback is having your identity stolen by an individual you were actually partnering with to start the business. So at one point, starting with an individual who was accessible to all of my information, not only stole my content, locked me out of my content, took down my website, and actually put their face on my brand. So if that wasn't enough to think, maybe I shouldn't do this, and I had to remember, your brand, who you are, what you do is destiny over drama. It's only a testament that you're supposed to continue to do that. That was definitely a setback though.
Alright, how you doing? I'm Treasure Johnson, but I go by TJ. I'm also known as Chef TJ. Come from a small town, Columbus, Georgia, where I played basketball pretty much all my life. Went to college to play ball on a scholarship. Afterwards, played pro basketball in several countries in South America. And I became a teacher. And then after that, pretty much I became a chef. Here in Atlanta, I do caterings, I do meal preps, and I also work with kids on the side. I coach basketball at Griffin High School. So this road to entrepreneurship for me has been a little bit bumpy. I've been wearing multiple hats, doing multiple things across all fields. But I'm here as an entrepreneur today to just go on this journey and give it a real shot, give it all I got.
Hi TJ, thank you for being here.
How you doing?
So tell me about your business.
So I'm a caterer. I specialize in seafood and soul food. I potentially want to own a food truck to actually structure my business. I also curate events for the LGBTQ community.
Okay. What inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
I've always been in the background working for somebody else, building somebody else's dream. I've always had a passion of food. I love how food can remind you of a time or it can create a memory for you. So I just wanted to run with that passion and see where it took me.
What's up, guys? My name is Tony Green, and I own an organization called Fox Point Capital Group. And what we do is we help small to mid-sized business access massive funding. So, you know, my entrepreneurship journey started off when I was at age 15, where I started off, you know, with a hustle, with, you know, selling colognes, roll-on colognes, and then from there I started to continue to build and, you know, really find my skill sets and find the different things in my life that I wanted to do. You know, I've been in business my whole life. My parents were in business. You know, I remember coming out, you know, 2 years old, crawling out into my parents' store, clothing store that they had. And, you know, from there, growing up, you know, I just started to understand that there was more to this business thing, understanding how, you know, there's a lot of spiritual aspects that come to business. And, you know, when you're on this business path, this entrepreneurship journey, you know, it really is a spiritual journey as well. So, you know, learning a lot of different things on this journey really helped me to elevate and learn who I was, learn my purpose, you know, a lot of inner work. And, you know, I've been all around the world, you know, 13 plus different countries, you know, doing music. It's, you know, that was a real important aspect of my career. I turned that into a business, did it independently, you know, had businesses simultaneously, you know, through marketing, and always was working with business owners and entrepreneurs, people who wanted to grow and elevate. You know, I really see this thing as bigger than us, you know, it's way bigger than us, and we just a piece of the whole. So, you know, I'll continue this journey and continue to grow, you know, through this. And, you know, I love to see other people, especially people of my color, you know, really building. And that's what it's about, you know. So I'm here on the Real Entrepreneur Show so that I can show what I got, you know, and here to also collaborate with a, you know, really big thing that's happening. This is going to be a game changer. So, you know, I feel honored and pleasure to be a part of it.
Tony, I like that you're so diverse in your business offerings. Tell me what inspired you to become an entrepreneur.
My start with entrepreneurship started with my parents. My parents were entrepreneurs since before I've been born. So that's really how I got into it. And then it branched out from age 15, starting a quote unquote hustle and growing from there and learning the difference between a hustle and a business.
I am sure that you have seen many businesses. So in your business, tell me about a time that you faced a challenge that you had to overcome, and how did you overcome it?
I faced many challenges, but if I would like to be specific, there was this individual I was working with who just had a lot of inner type of things going on with their inner self, and I had to really work through them. So I had to pull out my personal development bag and help them understand how to get out their own way, how to use personal development techniques to kind of, you know, dig inside and, you know, have practical tools that they can put in their daily lives to help them with that issue so that they can now elevate in their journey, in their business journey.
Hi, my name is Watisha Bly. I am the owner of Y Wigs and Beyond LLC. I am also the author of From a Pawn to a Queen. I have turned my book into a screenplay and I'm trying to get it filmed. And I have built a small team. I have a little bit of a production team so far. I'm trying to build my cast. And I'm just excited because I have been through a lot in life, and my book and movie is going to tell it all. And if I'm a part of this show, I'm able to, like, you know, kind of say it from my perspective. Because, you know, when producers get involved, they kind of tell your story for you. So on this show, I feel like I'll be able to tell my own story, and I'm looking forward to that. Also, I'm a mom of 3. I have a special needs child, which has been very challenging, but it's this process, and I love my baby. I have a daughter. She's 27 years old, trying to be a nurse. And I have a village. You know, most people don't have a village. I do, and I'm grateful for my village. And I'm just ready to show the world what I'm about.
Miss Watisha, how you doing?
I'm good today.
Good. Glad for you to be here.
Thank you.
So we got a few questions. Just answer them to the best of your ability.
Okay.
What inspired you to be an entrepreneur?
A real answer. So I did go to prison at a younger age. So of course that, you know, held me up with getting jobs when I got out. And I kept getting denied due to my background, even though I had did the work to change. So I decided then, okay, if nobody's gonna hire me, let me hire myself. And that's how I came up with the idea. I used to wear wigs all the time when I got out of prison. And everywhere people would think it's a hairdo. They didn't think it was wigs, and I got compliments and compliments. So I decided, let me do a wig line. Let me see how that works for me. And that's pretty much where it came from.
Love it. So as an entrepreneur, we all go through setbacks, and I'm sure you've had many.
Ooh.
So just pick one, describe one to us, and then also tell us how you overcame that setback.
Okay, recently. So I paid someone to do a nice website for me. And the website had been up for a total of 6 months with no sales. And I didn't understand what was going on. I was promoting, I was doing all, you know, I did all the webinars to tell me how to market myself. And I was doing that. And what happened was, the way she set it up, they couldn't place a payment. So I guess people were coming to my site, and because I didn't have my stuff together, nobody would even reach out to me and tell me, we can't pay for it. I think it's my fault though, because I was supposed to do a test sale is what they told me I did wrong. I should have done that. But the person that I paid had told me everything was working, that, you know, she went step by step. So I started over. I got a new website. I made a pay. I did an order myself, and
Now we're booming. Yeah, that was horrible though, 6 months, no orders.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, you constantly have to test it, and it happens all the time.
I just thought maybe like they're not getting it. They love my hair. I'm getting the compliments on social media. What is happening? You know, I didn't understand. Like, Mom, what's going on? And my family would come directly to me to order, to support. So they wasn't using the website. So that's why I didn't know from my family and friends.
All right. Good afternoon, Miss Boyd. So my first question for you is, how long ago and what inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So I have been a licensed mobile massage therapist for over 10 years now. I've been operating full-time here in Atlanta, Georgia over the last 2 to 3 years, well, even 5 years, honestly, since I've moved here. My inspiration is to create wellness in home or at events for others to enjoy and experience the winning touch. I want everyone to relax and be able to have the convenience of the services of luxury massage services for them.
That's awesome. Thank you for that answer.
Yeah.
So my second question is, can you describe a time that you had a major setback, and how did you come back from that setback as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, absolutely. As a mom and working as an entrepreneur, of course, there are challenges where we have to put ourselves aside and we have to focus if it's just strictly or solely on the family. So being able to know how to balance life, balance where to step up and where to step back has been the biggest lesson for me, is understanding patience and being able to just trust God and allowing Him to direct you and where you should go and how you should do things.